When he's sitting on the edge of his bed after a hard day, eyes down, backpack still on, what you say in the next 10 seconds.
Before age 8, a boy's brain is deciding which emotional patterns to keep and which to let go.
The neural pathways that get practiced through repetition, through emotion, through your response, those get stronger.
The ones that don't get used begin to fade.
And fathers have more influence during this window than they'll ever have again.
These are the 8 lessons that developmental research says matter most. Between ages 6 and 8, the brain relies heavily on a critical process called synaptic pruning.
It keeps the emotional responses it's been practicing and lets go of the ones it hasn't. This isn't symbolic, it's neurological.
Children move through what researchers call the 5 to 7 shift.
A boy who once believed he could fly if he tried hard enough begins to understand the limits of the real world.
A child who thought his father knew everything begins to see him as human and starts watching how he handles being human.
And during this transition, the beliefs he forms about whether feelings are safe to share, whether mistakes are catastrophic.
The lessons that follow aren't about perfection, they're about presence. Because once this window begins to close, the patterns become harder to reshape.
One, emotional literacy.
The first lesson is simple but often resisted. Feelings are information, not weakness.
How are you feeling right now, buddy? Are you feeling sad?
No, I think I'm happy.
Research into emotional intelligence indicates that boys who can name what they feel, anger, disappointment, fear, joy, show stronger self-regulation and healthier relationships later in life. They're less likely to explode when frustrated, more likely to ask for what they need, better equipped to navigate conflict without escalating it.
But many boys are never taught the vocabulary.
When he's sitting on that bed, eyes down, backpack still on, that moment matters more than any future lecture about toughness. If the response is shake it off or don't worry about it, the lesson is clear. What you're feeling doesn't deserve space.
If the response is that sounds hard or do you want to talk about it, even if he says no, the lesson shifts.
It says your inner world is real, and I'm not afraid of it.
This is where synaptic pruning matters most.
So instead of keeping it all inside until you explode, we need to name those feelings and express what you need. That's the healthy way.
2. Respect in action. Respect is modeled, not announced.
Developmental psychology shows that children adopt behavioral norms long before they can explain them.
What feels normal at home becomes normal everywhere, including online, including in locker rooms, including in relationships a decade from now.
When he hears how his father talks about someone in traffic, whether it's patient or laced with contempt, he's learning what's acceptable.
When he watches how his father responds when a server makes a mistake.
Or how he refers to people who look different or think differently. These aren't teachable moments. They're absorbed moments.
They don't see themselves as unkind, they see themselves as normal.
Respect doesn't require agreement. It requires acknowledgement that other people's dignity is not conditional on how they make you feel.
Cree. Courage without cruelty.
Studies on peer development found something that challenges old assumptions about toughness. Empathy reduces aggression more effectively than discipline alone. When he hesitates before standing up for a classmate and looks to you first, that glance isn't weakness, it's wisdom.
He's asking a question that will shape how he uses power for the rest of his life.
Is protecting someone braver than dominating them? Is walking away from a fight you don't need to have cowardice or strength?
Your response in that moment doesn't need to be spoken. It can be a nod, a hand on the shoulder, a quiet "I'm proud of you" afterward.
Because what he's learning isn't just how to treat others. He's learning what kind of man earns his father's respect.
These first 3 lessons shape how he sees comes next. Shape where you shape what he does when things get hard.
4. Responsibility, the gift of failure.
When he forgets his homework and you drive it to school, you think you're being supportive.
But the lesson he learns is this: mistakes don't have consequences. Discomfort is optional, and someone will always rescue you.
Research into executive function, the brain's management system for self-control, shows that children who experience...
When he forgets his homework and has to face his teacher, he learns that uncomfortable situations are survivable.
When he breaks something and is guided to help fix it, he learns that mistakes are solvable, not catastrophic.
And 15 years from now, when he's hiding a mistake at work because he was never taught how to recover from one. That instinct was built here, in the small moments when rescue felt like love but was actually avoidance.
Responsibility isn't about making a child feel bad. It's about making him feel capable.
5. Persistence over perfection.
When the bike tips over for the 5th time and he looks back, not for help, but for permission, he's asking a question that will shape the next.
Growth mindset research shows this moment matters more than the outcome, because what he learns right now isn't whether he can ride a bike.
Boys who are praised for effort rather than outcome develop stronger long-term motivation.
They're more willing to take on challenges, more comfortable with discomfort, less likely to give up when things don't come easily.
Nice one. All right, now aim right for the glove, step forward.
Got it.